I'm Sai. Today we're going to be demystifying songwriting. Our goal today is to learn to write a song in under 15 minutes. You don't need to be an expert musician to write a song that you and others will enjoy and that you'll feel proud of. You just need to have a good attitude and know a few chords. When I first learned the concepts covered in this video, it really changed everything for me. My hope is it'll do the same for you. You can play your chords on a physical instrument or digitally create chords on your computer, your laptop, or your phone. There will also be links at the end of the video with sample chord progressions if you want to focus on writing and singing your melodies instead of focusing on the chords. The point of this video is to leverage a commonly used chord pattern to create a song to your liking. Here's our agenda for the video. 1 minute theory, I promise it will be fast. The 1-5-6-4 chord progression or chord pattern. How to use the progression practically with examples. Common singer-songwriter's song structure. It was a chipmunk. And 4 tips and tricks to use this to your advantage and write a song with some final thoughts. We'll start with a major scale because this whole idea celebrates the major scale pattern. So think back to Sound of Music or your intro music class. Our major scale is our do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Doesn't matter what note we're starting on, it's just about that little melody that we create. You've got your C, your D, your E, your F, your G, your A, B, and C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, or 8. This is Eddie. Hello, Eddie. I'm scared he might peck me sometimes. So what we're going to do now is take notes 1, 5, 6, and 4 and play them in that order. Doesn't matter how many times. Let's do 4 for right now. So if we're using the key of C major or the C major scale, which is what we were talking about earlier, our number 1 is a C, and then our number 5 is a G, our number 6 is an A, and our number 4 is an F. Now let's turn those into chords. For our purposes, 3 of our chords will be major chords and only 1 will be a minor chord, and it'll be our 6th chord. So we're going to do a C, regular C major, a G, and then our number 6, our A, will be a minor, and then our number 4 will be a major again. So we've got our C, number 1, G, 5, A minor, 6, F, 4. Often Roman numerals are used. I'll put what that will look like up on the screen. So we'll have our 1, our 5, our 6, and our 4. For the minor chord, the 6, we can use a small Roman numeral, and then we can use the capital Roman numerals for the other ones. Some people use different symbols to show the majors and the minors, but I like the capital and small letters. We can use this strategy for any major scale. On the screen are some examples of different major scales that don't start on sharps or flats, because those are plenty to start with. What you can do is take your major scale and write out each note. Your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, write the letter notes, and then write your numbers, and then pick number 1, number 4, number 5, and number 6. Turn the number 6 into a minor chord and the rest into major chords. Rearrange them into our 1-5-6-4 order, and you've got a pattern or a progression to start writing a song. Okay, so now we understand our chord pattern or chord progression. So now we're going to try it in different ways with different strumming patterns, different timings, and see how it sounds and see if we can relate it to some songs that we already know. We'll use radio songs from mostly the last 10-ish years. We'll still use the key of C, and we're going to start with 4 times each chord. 1, 5, 6, minor, 4. Can't waste time, so give me the moment. I realize nothing's broken. Don't need to worry about everything I've done. Live every second like it was my last one. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. So those are 2 different songs using the same chord pattern. using 4 times each chord. So let's see what happens if we use the same chords, the same patterns, but we strum it slower and only 2 times per chord. Well, you put on quite a show, really had me going. Now it's time to go, curtains finally closing. So it sounds very different to the other 2 songs with just some small changes. Okay, now let's see what happens if we change our strumming pattern. Still the same chords, but instead of strumming on the beat, we're doing an up strum in between the beats. I'm not myself, the nights are gone, there ain't no way I'm moving on. I'm not afraid to need you back. Sometimes it be like that. That's an example. Another one would be, I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. So exactly the same structure of chords and exactly the same strumming structure as well. Let's continue on our 4 counts each chord pattern, but we're going to bump up the energy, and we're still in C. So it's very different than the last song, even though it's the same chords. All right, let's do the next example in a different key. We'll do it in D. So we've got D, A, B minor, G for chords 1, 5, 6, the minor chord, 4. And if you'll notice, I was strumming 6 times a chord. My example is actually 12 times a chord. So let's do 12 times a chord and we'll see how that sounds with our song. We'll make a palace of this apartment, the best thing of all. It's only just started and I know when you're home, I'm home. But those are just some examples of how you can mess with the timing, mess with the strumming or the playing if you're not playing a stringed instrument, and you can get a different feel and a different style out of your song. Remember, it doesn't matter which major scale you're basing on, so which key you're in. All that matters is that you use your 1, 5, 6, 4 chord pattern or chord progression. As long as you choose how you strum and sing to match the mood and style that you're looking for, then you will be good as gold. Okay, next we're going to talk about the common singer-songwriter structure. So a song that you hear on the radio that has a drop and a hook will not follow this structure likely, but a pop country song or most songs written on a guitar or a ukulele and sometimes a piano will follow this structure. So you start with your verse or your story, then you have your pre-chorus, which is kind of like a build-up, and then our chorus is the part of the song that repeats. Usually the title of the song is in the chorus. Toward the end of the song, you have a bridge. If someone's featuring on the song, this is usually where they show up. The bridge is very different from the rest of the song. It might not be different chords. Some songs have the same 4 chords like we talked about all the way through, but the bridge is still going to have a different melody and it's just going to have a different feel. So an example song can have a short instrumental introduction, then you'll have verse 1, pre-chorus, and chorus. Maybe a short instrumental section again, verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus, your bridge, and then 2 choruses to end. A bridge is also a part where some solos will take place, like a guitar solo or any sort of instrument solo. Often it comes in that bridge section if it's not already in those instrumental breaks throughout the song. Okay, so tip number 1 is to take our 1, 5, 6, 4 pattern, figure out which major scale we want to base on. I'm going to base it on the G major scale, and what our mood is going to be and how we're going to strum or play how many times. So I'm going to do 6 strums each chord. And then you make up some words. I told you what I needed, you said it was fine, but you were lying. Now I'm crying, now I'm crying. Forced rhyme. So that was fine, But what was wrong with that? I just made up the words. They don't mean anything to me. So that leads us into tip number 2, which is to have a story. You don't have to tell a story in your song. You could create a story in your head and pull snippets of that to write your song. I think it's really important to have that story linking everything together, because otherwise you just have a bunch of analogies and pretty words and wordplay, or not, but they just don't mean anything. So when you have a story, again, not necessarily told in your song, just in your head or in your song, it's easier for people to relate to, and they can apply their story to your song. And that's the coolest part about writing. So that is something to think about, is that story. It can also be writing from the perspective of a character in a movie or somebody that you know, as long as you have their permission or you don't spill all their secrets. But that story piece is really, really important. Let's try another one, still based on the G major scale. Same chords, same order, but we're gonna change our strumming pattern a bit. Let's do a more robust strumming pattern. I'm feeling happy, happy as a clam. You're making me angry, angry as a ram that's hungry. So that was fun, that was fine. The lyrics are a little more cheesy than I would like, but that's okay. So that's our next tip, and that is to listen to songs that have lyrics that you admire, that you aspire to write like. Grammar. Because if you are listening to songs and you don't like the lyrics of those songs, then you're just going to write stuff that you don't like either. So that's really important, to surround yourself with the kind of words, the kind of lyrics, or the kind of poetry that you really want to emulate in your writing. And tip number 4 is that we're not trying to change the world with our songs. We're just trying to have fun. We're trying to learn. We're trying to grow, and that's okay. So throw the ego out the window. We're just having fun. Tons of people have used this chord pattern. Beginner songwriters, experienced musicians who have toured all over the world and seen it all. This chord pattern is used in tons of genres. So don't be afraid to use it. Don't be afraid to feel proud of the song that you've written. As long as it means something to you and you're working on it, you're learning, that's all that matters. So our bonus tip is that you can use that pattern throughout the whole song, but you don't have to. Some of the songs that we did examples of today use that pattern throughout the whole song, and some of them didn't. So what you can do is think about your different sections of your song, your verse, your pre-chorus, your chorus, or your bridge, and you can still use those same 4 chords, but just rearrange them for those different sections of the song to give different feelings. As promised, here are some links to sample chord patterns in different keys with different moods, so you can focus on writing your lyrics and your melodies. We talked a little bit about how we can change up the order of these chords for different parts of the song. If you'd like a video on that, let me know in the comments below. This whole video was made possible by my friend Stephanie, who taught me a lot of these concepts a few years ago and changed the way I heard music, specifically music on the radio. It was also made possible by my brother for helping me edit and film and showing me how to do all of these things. So thank you so much to both of you. It's a dream come true to make this video. And thank you to everyone for watching until the end. We'll see you next time. Bye!
Bloopers.
So we'll try again. We'll make a dang it. Let's try it again. Cool.
Eddie says subscribe to HD Gamer, best channel. Goodbye.